Welcome to Let's Get Into It. I am your host, Sherelle Higgins. Let's Get Into It is a safe space to have real conversations that are meant to uplift, encourage, and let you know you are not the only one dealing with life. Each episode of Let's Get Into It is designed to provide illuminating and thought-provoking information on a variety of topics. In fact, no topic is off limit. If you would like to see a topic discussed, please feel free to make a recommendation. My special guest and I will have a great time discussing topics that the mainstream media wouldn't dare discuss. We will bring these conversations to you with an open mind, respectfully, from different perspectives, and most importantly, with love. Thank you for joining me and my special guest. Now, let's get into it. Hello, everybody. I am back. I am back. I am back. I am Sherelle Higgins, the host of Let's Get Into It. And I did not have a show 2 weeks ago because I was busy traveling internationally. I traveled to Slovenia, to Venice, and to Rome. And it was a great 11 days. I am tanned up. It was so hot in Rome. I think I melted a little bit. I melted 4 pounds off my body. So I was happy about that. Of course, by the time I got home and got on the scale 2 days later, I had found 2 of those pounds. So I don't know where they were, but I found them. But I am back and I am excited about my guest today because I will tell you, I don't believe things happen by coincidence. I think things happen by happenstance, and God orders our steps and put us in places where we need to meet new people. Now, as some of you all know, I am very sociable, but I am an introvert. I know y'all find that hard to believe, but I know how to be sociable. I'm not shy by any stretch of the imagination, but I am an introvert, which only means where I get my energy from, and I get it from myself. I don't necessarily have to be around other people to get my energy. However, I am going to introduce you to my guest, and I'm going to tell you what happened. That God ordered my steps and put me in a place to be able to meet this lady. And so I'm so excited about that. But before I do, let me just show you a little clip of something. So I'm going to bring Miss Shauna to the stage and say, welcome, Shauna.
Thank you so much. It is such a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Okay, so on Juneteenth, I went to a Juneteenth function with my Virginia State family, who you all know I absolutely love and adore. And one of my Virginia State friends had on this bag. And the bag was so creative and it was so cute. I had to ask, where did you get that from? And she told me that she had got it from her friend Shauna. And so I was like, oh, well, put me in touch with Shauna. And so she sent me Shauna's Instagram page. And on her Instagram page, I started scrolling through, but my patience won't allow me to do that for long. So I said to myself, okay, she got some cute stuff. So I'm going to come back to it. Well, lo and behold, 2 days later, I go to a Virginia State function and guess who the vendor is? Miss Shauna. And I was so excited that she was there as a vendor. I immediately went over and checked out what she had and introduced myself and told her the story. So, Shauna, I'm so excited to have you here so we can not only talk about who you are as a person, but we can also talk about your products and what you do as a creative and as a fashion designer. As many people know who watch this show or this podcast know, I love fashion. I'm all about fashion. I like fashion shows. And when I step outside, I'm going to be put together from head to toe. I'm going to be matching. As a matter of fact, I was in the airport traveling between the United States and some of those locations I told you I went to, and I had on my orange and blue from head to toe, and I got so many compliments, and people were just so in was so admiring my orange and blue and white Converse that I had custom made. And so I'm all about fashion. And anytime I have an opportunity to highlight some Black designers and their products, I am going to take full advantage of it. So, Shauna, again, welcome to Let's Get Into It. So, it is time for us to get into it. So, Shauna, let's tell the audience, let's start with some basic questions. Where are you from?
I am from Alexandria, Virginia, born and raised.
Okay, born and raised, and you currently reside in.
Fort Washington, Maryland. I've been in Maryland for probably 30 years.
Okay, all right. And so, as your name tag says, you are the CEO of Vintage Chicks DC. How did you come up with that name?
I have always, my mother had a very vintage style. My own style, I wear a lot of bell bottom jeans. I'm like a hippie a little bit, I think. And so the vintage was definitely going to be in the name of my company. And Chicks, I think, stood out. In DC, even though I live in Maryland, DC encompass, I think when we all go out of town, it's easier to say, yes, I'm from DC, because if I say Virginia, they could think Richmond or Norfolk. So I always say DC. And so that's how it came together. Vintage Chicks DC.
Yes, when we were me and my girlfriend, when we were traveling. Of course, people are like, "Where you from?" And she would always say Washington D.C. because people know what that is, right? They know it's the nation's capital, and so they can relate to that. And then we would drill down a little bit further and say that I live in Virginia and she live in Maryland. Um,
Mhm.
and so you grew up in Alexandria, Virginia, and you live in Maryland. So when you what talk to us about how you started your business.
So my business started truly by happenstance. So being in the DC area, I would party. I would go out to different events. You know, we have the all white, all black, all pink, all of those events that we have. And I was always committed to walking in the room and knowing for sure that no one could possibly have on what I have on because I made it yesterday.
Mm,
So it started that way. And so I would go places and people would compliment me. And then folks would ask me to make them that. And I'd say, oh, I can't make you that, but I'll make you something similar to that. And so I started just doing it ad hoc when folks would ask me. And then I truly believe God spoke to me and was preparing me for some things that I was going to go through that I had no idea that I was going to go through. So
mm,
January 2024, I formed my LLC, and I was supposed to have had it done earlier, and I was procrastinating. But I will tell you, the voice of God, when it's supposed to be done, you do it. And so that's what happened. I just pushed myself one day and said, "Let me just do this," only to find out to create an LLC and go through all of that wasn't as hard as I had been thinking it actually was.
mm.
And so I launched the business in January. I had my first event in February, and it was a great success. It really was. And the folks that visited my booth had no idea this was my first event, and I had never done this before. And so after that, I started just continuing to do pop ups. And it's just been a great ride. So, but that's how Vintage Chicks came to be.
So so I know you said your mom was had like a vintage style, and then chicks just kind of came, went with that because I think that's a clever name. So where do you get your inspiration for your designs?
So I will tell you, and I think a lot of designers will share this same sentiment. At night, I don't know what it is about the nighttime. I can just lay down, and my mom passed away in 2018, so that was my very best friend. Um, and I often think about the things that she wore. She was a 70s person her whole life. I mean, she didn't have the big hair, she wore an afro before, but she got out of that. But as far as her bell bottoms and her little shingly purses and big jewelry, she was that person. And so I often think of her and certain things that she wore, and I was able to be gifted some of the things that she had. And so I play off of that. I also look at a lot of 70s movies, to believe it or not. I just love that era. I love that time. The platforms, just the whole, and then the hippie part of it too, where, they're smoking weed and they're just, like just kumbaya type of folks. And they have loose clothing on and it's colorful and fun. So I think my inspiration comes a lot from that era and from my mom.
Okay. Yeah, I grew up in the 70s, and so I know exactly what you're talking about. I was having flashbacks as you were talking about some of the things that I had back then that we were just rocking.
Mhm.
Um, and so that's good because I think a lot of times people, don't really understand designers, right? And how they come up with their designs. Um, and so one of the things you said to me when I met you at that event is that you only make one of something. And I love that because I just would like be horrified if I walked into an event and somebody had on the exact same outfit as I had on. That would not be good. So what made you decide that you would only make unique pieces?
A lot of my pieces that are most, excuse me, popular are upcycled. So that means that I'm using something that we don't have anymore. It's only one of those.
Mm,
So you're not going to get it again. A lot of the things that I put on the clothes or whatever I'm doing, I don't buy a batch of it. I may buy a couple of pieces, so I can't recreate it. And that's one of the reasons I think I shared this with you. I don't have a website. Once you put a website up, people are going to say, "I want that."
hmm
That is not available anymore because somebody brought that.
hmm
I the reel that you presented, I posted that and I had so many people in my inbox saying, I saw this, I want this. And I was like, oh, I'd love to take care of you. That one, not that one, but I will get you one. And no, and I've not had a customer that came back and said, no, I want it this way. I wanted it that way. So they were always happy. I think it's important for, just like you feel, I don't want people to walk into a room and have the same thing on. I just don't. I think, and I do like to speak. So I do pop ups where I create things and people come and buy them. But I like having individual customers where I get to know the customer. So when I am creating, I know them. I can shoot them a picture. Yo, I made this jacket. I know you're gonna love it. Check it out, and they do. And so I like the human contact. About just getting to know people. So I hope that was a long answer to your question.
Oh, it's all good. And you know what? You have a customer right in front of you, and I cannot wait because we are going to create some things.
I'm
Um,
excited.
I am excited too because I've been looking for somebody who could create some of the ideas I have. And so I'm looking forward to being able to do that with you. Now, when I met you at that event, I purchased a bag from you and I have not rocked it yet. And I am waiting on an event to come up so I can rock it. And so, um, knowing that it's a one of a kind of piece is really making me excited because
Mhm.
I know when I go into this place, nobody else is going to have it. But with that being said, so what type of products do you create? Because I know I bought this bag that you could wear as a shoulder bag, or you could wear it around your waist, kind of like a fanny pack. But it had the strings where you can braid it like you braid your hair, three-strand braid, and so it's really creative. So what else do you create?
So I create right now. I get on these kicks. So a couple of months ago, I was heavy into doing jean ties. So they became really, really popular. Um, I I create jean ties. I also create something called a vintage chick waistlet, and a lot of folks really like it. It's very popular, and what it is it's basically, you could maybe think of it as an apron. But I first, let me give you the concept of how this came to be. I
Mhm.
went to the Capital One Arena and I had a little Marc Jacobs bag, and they walked me back out, and they didn't have any lockers, so I had to walk 4 blocks back, miss like the whole first part of the concert, because I had to put my bag in the car.
Mhm.
And so I was probably more upset about it than I should have been, because I was really, it was J. Cole's. I love J. Cole, and I wanted to be there at the beginning. So the whole time at the concert, I had a good time, but I was like, this isn't going to happen again. Like, I'm going to create something where they can't, this isn't going to happen. So the next day, I created what became a waistlet. And basically, it's an adjustable belt. You put it, it goes, it's a jean material. I do gray, black, I'll do any color. And so I pimp it out and I put all this cool stuff on it, and it has multiple pockets. So I can put my cell phone, my keys, my credit card, and they're on my person. So now
Mhm.
I don't have a purse. And
Mhm.
because I've created those, I have tons of purses in my closet that I don't use anymore, because I just throw on the belt, and it really accents and changes your outfit. To just, it just looks completely different once you put on the belt. That's something I've gotten into. Creating some what I call vintage chick junk purses. So they are denim purses that I pimp out. I'm one of these people. I love putting something on something. I do so, but and I will, but I like upcycling, and I am a jean fanatic. So I do a lot of things with jeans. I make jackets, I sweatshirts. I do skirts. I do a lot of different things, and I get inspiration for those things. Just, I'll see something and I'll say, oh my gosh, I could really do something with this jacket. And then I'll do it, and then somebody will like it, they'll buy it, and then I'll create something based off of that creation. Not the same, but similar.
Okay. And so, okay, so I heard you mention ties, the waist bags, the jackets, the skirts, and so I'm assuming, and because you said you also just like jean material, that you blinging out jeans too.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I absolutely. I think when we met, I had, that's another way that I know kind of how to create things, more of them, maybe differently. I went to, when I met you at an event, I had on some camouflage pants, but I had put all of these patches all over them, and I had just done a lot of embellishing on them. And so when I posted those pictures, I got so many orders for that. Now that's a, with those, when folks contact me for those, I like them to have the pants, because then I have to run out and find your size and that type of thing. But for the most part, when I go to pop ups, I do bring several different kinds of camouflage pants, different, made differently, but the
Mhm.
same kind of concept, I would say. But yeah, I do anything that I can get my hands on that I can tweak or change. I will mention this: I met several people that have lost uh, mothers, daughters, all type of folks, and they have something of theirs. And they, maybe their father's old military jacket. I've been
Mhm.
able to embellish those and keep those around. I have a very popular jacket of my mom's. She was a U.S. Army drill sergeant. And so I have this trench coat that was literally an Army issued trench coat, and I changed it, and folks, all ages, all types of folks just run up to me when I have it on, and they love it. And it's very sentimental to me. So I like to do upcycling of things that people have that mean something to them.
Oh, that's a great idea. Because as we move from this earth until the forever after, we leave so much stuff behind, and oftentimes we don't cherish those things, and so we end up just giving it away or whatever,
Mhm.
donating it. So that's a great idea that, and I actually have something of my grandmother's.
Oh, I
So
love
I'm
it.
glad you mentioned that. That I think would be super fly if you blinged it out. So we're gonna work together on that. So I'm glad you
I
mentioned.
love that.
Also, um, when I was in Venice, I went into this store and they had this jean jacket and it was all blinged out. And I said, I tried it on. It was so cute. And I was like, I could probably get Shauna to make this for me. Or not the exact thing, but something similar. And so I have a jean jacket and it's a Virginia State Trojans jacket and I want to bling it out because I know other people have that jacket because I bought it at CIAA. And but
Mhm.
once I give it to you and you bling it out, nobody else has it.
Absolutely right. And I love stuff like that. I do and I have to be honest, I will see stuff in the store that gives me inspiration and I'll create something similar. Coincidentally, the pants that I'm speaking of, Polo had a pair of those pants.
Mhm.
And I was on their website and I saw it and I was like, wait a minute, let me do something. And so that's kind of how I was able to create those because I did see Polo had put those out. So yeah, I tell me, show me, give me what you have. It's I know a lot of folks from Virginia State, and so I'm going to be doing a lot of things for them. You all get ready real early for homecoming.
Oh,
Serious.
come on now, say it. I'll be at homecoming every year, so I'm excited. But now that I'm connected to you, I don't have to wait to see you at homecoming. I could just call you up and be like, Shauna, let's meet. Let me drop off this stuff. Let me ask you this: do you also do earrings?
I don't. I'm not bridged into that. But I am going to put a plug in for somebody because we all have to share
Absolutely.
um, businesses. I the best earring maker. Her name is Cody, and the name of her business is Hide Your Jewelry, and that's
Mhm.
HYDE Your YOUR Jewelry. And she's been around forever, but she is so dope and amazing. So I would say check her out. That's where I would go to get earrings made.
Okay, I am writing that down because I also have a person who makes a lot of my jewelry. A friend of mine in Chicago makes a lot
Okay.
of my jewelry, Mickens LLC. And every time I wear her earrings, I get lots of compliments. And so I wrote down Hide Your Jewelry. So I will be checking them out as well.
I
Um,
actually know Mickens. I believe that she was at H Street one year. Did she ever do H when you speak to her? H Street. There's a festival in H Street each year, and I believe she did it.
I don't know that she was here. I don't know
Okay.
if she came for that. But I'll ask her. What do I know? I'm sure if she was here, she would have told me. But
Mickens. Okay.
yeah, Miken.
Yeah, I think I follow her.
Okay.
I'll have
Yeah,
to check that out. I'll have to check
she
that out.
does great, and she's a creative like you. She only makes one pair, and so
Okay.
I don't have to worry about seeing other people in it. But she makes really great earrings, and I because I wear my hair close to bald, it's
Hmm.
really important for me to have really pretty earrings and something that stands out. So I often patronize her.
So you can see I can relate.
Okay, um, so Shauna, do you have children?
I do. I have two children, Deshawn, 34, and Gabriella, 13. She'll be 14 next month. My kids are 20 years apart, and I am Gigi to six grandkids.
Oh wow! Oh
My
wow!
yes, my son is married and he has six whole kids.
Okay, you had kids 20 years apart. You know what? Bless you.
Yes, yes. I will say this, and I'm sure folks can relate to this. They're two totally different people, but so am I.
Hmm.
I'm two totally different people. So this parenting it's also a girl and that was a boy, but that was 20 years ago. And, so, well, 34 years ago now. So, yes, it is different. Yeah, it's definitely different.
Okay. So let me ask you, what do they think about your designs? Do they wear your designs? Particularly your daughter.
So, yeah, so my daughter will, so she joins me at pop ups. So I'll make her a shirt to rep. I'm very big on, I normally wear, like now you probably can't see it, but I have on a vintage chic shirt. I wear a lot of my symbol of my name
Mhm.
when I go out. So yes, if she's coming with me, she has to wear a shirt. Now she's 13. Does she want to always wear the shirt? No. Um, but I'm proud to say my son actually is a creator in his own right. He sells high end tennis shoes and he makes shirts himself. So he has his own business and that's what he does. So
Okay.
he definitely, you know, oh mom, that's dope, that's dope, that's tight, and he'll call me and he'll give me inspiration and say, I saw this, you should try to do this. So very supportive.
Okay, wait. I asked that question because oftentimes, as parents, we think we fly and we got it going on, but our kids be like, "Ew, really? Why you wearing
Well,
that?"
that's my daughter. My son, he thinks I'm pretty fly to be, his mom. But my daughter, the 13-year-olds. They're different. They're different. These folks that have Facebook and Google and can learn stuff, right off the bat. They are a little different folks. And I will tell you, real funny, we had a talk a couple of months ago, and I told her I don't really like the way you dress, and she's like, "That's fine because I don't like the way you dress either." So, we have an understanding. She's her person, and yeah, I have to say I am proud of her for that. Just
Yes,
be an
absolutely.
individual. Yeah, to do what you. I don't like it, but I deal with it.
Well, you know what's funny, and you already know this because you already have an older child. But as she gets older, she's gonna start rocking more of your things, and then is gonna always want you to make her something to wear. So the tide will change.
I will be happy to do it because when we walk out, some days I'm like, okay, let's go, let's go. I have to let her be free. So
Yeah.
yeah, the kids definitely dress a little different. But when we go to it, when she will wear what I tell her to wear when we go to my events,
Okay.
thankfully.
Yes, thankfully. Look, tell she got to represent. Like, stop playing.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So, Shauna, your client, do you find that you have repeat clients more often? I know you do pop ups and you meet new people, but your clients are, because I know I'm going to be a repeat client, right? And so, how do you navigate those relationships?
So I will tell you, it has been such a blessing. I've met so many amazing women. I've done a couple of things for men, but primarily women is my base. And so Alicia, the person that you met,
Hmm.
she knew my cousin, and I did something for her. She was going to a Cowboys game, and Alicia's my friend, right? She's my customer, but she is my friend.
Hmm.
We've gotten to the point where we are the phone, love you, girl. So
Hmm.
that relationship grows with my customers, and they don't become I call them customers, but all in all, I form a tight bond. Another example, I posted that video for my upcoming event on Sunday, and a customer that I hadn't seen in probably 4 months. She's like, "Oh my goodness, girl, I saw it. I'm gonna be out of town on Sunday. I'm not gonna be able to make it, but I really need a waistlet. Can you get me a waistlet by Saturday?" And
Mm.
she spent quite, she's been a very good supporter. So when I get off the phone with you, I'm gonna put aside what I was doing. I'm gonna get her a waistlet so that she can go and represent and look cute at her event on Saturday. So and she feels comfortable asking me. And if I couldn't do it, she would understand. But I try my best to accommodate.
Okay. And so, as you well know, a lot of women are into sports. particularly watching professional sports. I'm a huge NFL fan. My team is the Chicago Bears, which happens to be orange and blue, the same as my Virginia State love.
That's
and
awesome.
do you said she was going to a game, so do you create things for the teams as well?
Yeah, so I believe Alicia, we're both a Cowboys fan. I'll tell you that. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, and so is she. And so I created a
I'm,
tie.
I'm sorry for y'all. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know we were terrible last year, but we have a good year now. We're gonna get together this year. Prayerfully. Um, but she was going to that game, and so I loved it because that's my team too. So I was able to make her a tie, and then I did some embellishing on her waistlet that displayed uh, the Cowboys, and I definitely did the colors. But I've had customers. I've created Redskin ties, Steeler ties, um, yeah, whatever they like. I can definitely do that.
Okay. What about do you bling out the shoes too?
I
Or like
haven't gotten into it. I
okay.
haven't gotten into it. I'm not. I haven't. I could. So one time I had these pair of Crocs, and I put denim on them, and then I painted them, and I wore them, and people loved them. But I haven't created them. They're not something that I would probably promote. But if someone came to me and asked me to do something, I'm all for new things. I like to see where it's gonna go. So I would say yes. Let me give it a try.
And so when people come to you and ask you to create something specifically for them, do most people like give you the creative freedom to come up with something, or do people feel like they need to have a lot of input? Because I'm gonna give you the creative freedom because I don't want to have no input. I'm gonna tell you my idea and I'm gonna be out of it.
Gotcha. Well, I've been very fortunate that they do. They'll say, I trust you. Just, this is the basis of what I'm looking for. And so when I was creating the ties, I did a lot of selling out of state. Right. So a lot of people contacted me for these ties that were in state. So I would always have a conversation with them. And so I would find out things. What do you like? Butterflies, or what type of things do you like? Dragonfly, like what do you like? And so they would tell me, and so I would incorporate that into
Mm.
whatever I was creating for them. So I do ask some questions about, you know, you don't like pink, so so a lot of people are open. They'll say, I really stay away from pink, or orange is just not good for me. And so I pick up on that, and then I create around that. But I have to be honest, I love it when people say, "Do your thing, girl, do your thing," and so
That's gonna be me.
I love that.
So when I go to my hairstylist, I don't have any suggestions. I just sit in the chair. Whatever I walk out with is what I have. When I go to my nail tech, don't ask me nothing. Because if and same thing with my makeup artist. I'm like, because if I can do, I don't know that I can do it as well as you, but I can create some things. And if
Mhm.
I wanted to do that, I would just do it myself. So when I go to the nail salon, I don't want to pick a color. You pick the color, you pick the design, and then send me on my way, right? Because oftentimes what I find is when you go to a professional, that's what they do, right? And they may come up with something you may have never thought of. And so if you try to box them in, you're missing out on their creativity. And so I would not want to box my professionals that I deal with regularly in. So we have a question. So Kiani says, do you use a sewing machine when creating?
I do. I do. I use a sewing machine. Um, I have about four of them here. So yes, I create. Yes, sewing machine is involved.
Okay, you say you have four. I don't know anything about sewing machines, so I'm about to ask a question. Say if you don't know, you don't know, right? So with the sewing machines, do they do different things, or are they some smaller and bigger? Like what's with the different sewing machines?
So for me, yes. So because when you deal with a lot of denim, it wears on your sewing machine. So I have
Mhm.
two that I just alternate. So I'll just alternate denim. I find myself taking the sewing machine to get cleaned and oiled. And see, that's something that I could actually learn to do. But like you, I want to go to the professionals and let them do it and let me pick it up. when it's finished. And then I have a sewing machine that works really well on just fabrics. I do a lot with jackets and that type of thing. So it just works. It's smoother. It's easier. So that's why I have four. And they all sit like, so I'll just take one down and then pick the other one up and do it that way. Yeah, it's easier for me. I probably could get like a whole big industrial one, but I haven't. Something about my sewing machines, all of them kind of mean something to me, so I keep them.
Okay, that makes sense. If particularly since you are a creative and you are creating all your things, I can imagine that a sewing machine is a big part of your creativity and making it as easy as possible on you, so that you're not spending unnecessary time, because time is money in
Yes.
creating the look that you're going for. Um, so I thought at one point in my life that I was going to buy a sewing machine and make my own clothes, because I'm like, I really want somebody to make clothes for me. And so then I gave up that idea because I was like, I ain't got time for that. Because now I got to learn everything from scratch. And trial and error. And so when you think back to when you got started, like even creating your own things in the beginning, like talk to us about what that experience was like.
So I took sewing in high school, like everyone did. I took sewing. So no, you didn't. Yeah, I did. I took it. I took it for 3 years. So it was a elective that you could take. I went to TC Williams. Go
Okay.
Titan. So I was I
PC Williams.
yes,
She was
yes.
the cheerleading coach too.
Who
My sister, Sharon Cradle. Yeah, she was Cradle back then. Um,
really? Because I was a cheerleader.
really?
Yes, yes,
Yep.
yeah. So you have to ask her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Small
but
world, you never
because that
know.
sounds familiar, actually. Very small world. But
Hmm.
so I've always sewn something. So again, I've always been, even high school, then ultimately college. I always wanted to you know do something. I'm gonna take y'all back for a minute. Do you remember Jordache jeans? Remember
Yes.
Jordache? They
Yeah.
were big. Everybody had to have them. So everybody had a pair of Jordache jeans, and I could not go to school with those jeans because everybody had the jeans. So I'm addicted to sunflowers. So how your parents have these flowers, that are fake and they're in the. So my mom had a couple of sunflowers in this vase, and so I took it and I sewed it onto my jeans and went to school with it. And I was like, oh my gosh, them Jordashes are. So I've always been that person. So I've always done, if I didn't have a sewing machine, I was sewing something. I was ripping a sleeve off of a shirt.
Hmm.
I think I told you, I haven't been to the mall in years. Like, I don't do any mall shopping. And so I just upcycle stuff that I find. I'm a huge consignment thrift store person. I love it. I find gems there more so than I ever could at anybody's mall. So anybody listening, please, I'm telling you, take a Saturday morning, go into a consignment store, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, it's so many hidden things. And that also goes along with something different, something nobody is going to have because it's normally vintage.
Hmm. Okay, we have another question from Herb. Would you consider creating men's pimped out gear, jean jackets, jeans, etc.?
Yes, and so I have had several guys come and they have said, "Yeah, I'm going to give you a jacket and I want you to do something." Have they done it? No, they haven't done it yet. So I would be very excited and very open to doing that.
And he's older because he said pimped out.
Yeah, he did. Pimped out. Yeah, I caught it. I caught it.
That's some old school language when you talk about
Uh-huh.
being pimped out.
Now, with the gentleman, I would want to sit down and talk to them and really get
Yes.
to know what they want. To just pick their brain and make sure that I'm on the right path. But I would love that. I would welcome that. That would be real fun.
Okay. I have a husband.
Yes.
He could be pimped out.
Uh-huh. And both of y'all going into the party looking nobody has on the same thing.
Because his style is definitely that DC style, you
Hmm.
know, with the Timbs and the camouflage
The
and the
ball shirt.
all that, yeah. And so I'm sure he and so my husband. One thing about me is a lot of the clothes that I wear, my husband picks out for me
I love
because
that.
I hate shopping, but I like
Hmm.
to look good, and he has really good taste in what I, for things for me. And so I'm sure when we get together to create, he's going to have a lot of input, and I'll probably just be sitting back like, yeah, go with
I
that.
love that. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So okay, so yes, you'll do things for men, and I think really with men, like women, we're pretty easy in terms of fashion
Hmm.
because you can do lots of things for us, like all the bling and all of that
Hmm.
stuff, and it'll be just fine. Men ain't gonna want to wear the bling, and so I think
No.
it is gonna be easier. I mean, a better approach with men to sit down and really just get to know them and figure out what they're willing to wear, what they're not. Because, as we know, some men wear their manhood on their sleeve and they don't have,
Hmm.
and so you gotta make sure that, they feel comfortable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree.
Okay. And so let's talk about children. Because I
Okay.
have a 3-year-old granddaughter
Oh, I love it.
and an 8-month-old grandson.
Oh,
And so I think, particularly for the 3-year-old, I'm thinking like you could probably do something real cute for her.
I could. I have not. And I was just, I have six grandkids, so I mean that would be a lot of stuff to be doing for these little people. But I do. I often get them things, things that I see. I had saw these little leather uh, bell bottom pants, and I got it for my granddaughter. She looks so cute in them. I was like, oh, they're so cute. So I do. I kind of shop for them, but I haven't actually ventured out to do any
Mm,
kids things. But if I did, the first thing I'd probably start with is a jacket, like a
okay.
jacket, like a cute little jacket. I want with kids, I would want it to be something that they can wear.
For a while.
Something big, right? Because we know with kids, I would hate to take somebody's money for a getting something for a first birthday party because in 2 weeks or 3 weeks they can't wear it. So, but yeah, so with my daughter, I do, but she doesn't like it anymore. But she used to. She used to like it. She used to wear it when she was smaller. I would do a lot of jackets or do something to her dresses, make it a little different. But I wouldn't be opposed to it. But I would definitely want something that can last them for a minute.
Okay. It just occurred to me. I just had another idea. I'm
Mm.
look. I'm going to give you lots of ideas.
Okay, I'm here for it.
Swimsuits,
Hmm.
blinging them out.
Yes, I could do that. Um, I'm actually going to look into that to see how that could work because there I have been seeing there's some designers in Paris that have done some really unique things with swimsuits. Although I have to look, I'm not sure they actually get in the water with the swimsuits because of some of the things that I saw. But yeah, that's not a bad idea. I've not thought of that.
Yeah, and since I'm a world traveler and I like to have different bathing suits, I think that would be great if we
That would
could
be.
collab on that.
I love it. I definitely do.
Okay, I'm having a hot flash. Where them fans at?
Right.
Ooh, this menopause ain't for the weak.
I understand. Mine come normally in the evening, where I have the one leg off the bed and the fan and
That's
the
them
covers
night
on.
sweats.
There
I
it
have
is.
those
Exactly.
too. Okay, I'm gonna veer off topic just for 1 second, just because we talked about menopause. Have you seen on Instagram, we for people, the women in perimenopause and menopause, what we don't care about anymore?
Oh, I
Oh,
haven't seen it.
I'm gonna send you a link to that.
Please
It-
do.
it's fire.
I'm
Okay.
I probably can relate to all of it. It's
Yes.
a whole different mind state.
Yes. This lady talks about what we don't care about no more, and she is so good at her delivery. Like she literally has stars following her and chiming in. about what we don't care about no more because we in menopause.
Uh-huh.
um, okay, so all right, so we talked about the swimsuits. I think that would be like I could be a test case, right? And then
Okay. I'm up for it.
we'll go from there. Okay, so you oh Throna Throna says yes, it's funny. So she know about the lady on Instagram. I don't know what the lady name is, but we don't care.
Make sure you send me the link. I definitely
I will
want to
send
see
you
it.
the link. Absolutely. So you have a pop up coming up. You tell us
I
about it.
do. I do on Sunday in Capitol Heights, Maryland at Noel's. It is a hall in Capitol Heights off of Central Avenue from 2 to 6. There'll actually be a bunch of creators. It's called Upscale Summer Pop Up.
Mhm.
And so there'll probably be maybe 15 to 20 creators there. Live music, a DJ, not live music, DJ. There'll be food. It's always a good time. You get to meet new folks. And I always tell people, sometimes folks are saying, well, I don't have a bunch of money to spend. Even if you come out and meet these folks, get their card, follow them on Instagram. You're going to have a birthday or you're gonna have some event. It's better to have know the people instead of saying, "Oh my gosh, who could I possibly call?" And it's actually a lot of fun. So yep, that's this Sunday, July 13th, from 2 to 6 at Noel's.
Okay. All right. So Kiani says, do you bling hats?
So thanks for that question. I do, and I do because of our friend Alicia. She came with a hat. She had a bucket hat. And so I was able to bling that out with her. I will tell you, I do hats, little jean hats. I'll do different things to those, but I have to put a plug in. My daughter just started her hat business. She does truck hats. So she puts the patches on them. You get to pick the patches, and she puts them on there. So that's a business that she's going to be launching on the 26th of this month. But yes, I definitely can do hats.
That's a great business. I didn't even know about that business. Last summer, a friend of mine had a vendor come to her house, and
Okay.
she had all these hats. You pick your hat, and then you pick your stuff that you want to put on the hat, and like it was really fun to do. So that's a great business. I was like, oh well, who knew? And I did a hat, but I don't wear hats because I have these hot flashes, and it won't let me be great. But I went for the fun of it, and I have my hat. So that's a great business, particularly for a young lady.
Absolutely. She's really excited. She has everything, but I am a hat person. I definitely wear hats all the time. You saw me yesterday. I'm at yeah, bad hair days. I'm putting that hat on. So yes, I'm excited. I want her to get up and running because I'm gonna be her first customer.
I know that's right. So your first hat that she makes is that on the house?
Probably not. Probably, but we're gonna have a conversation because I done provided the stuff for the business, so we're gonna have to figure that all out. But we will.
And tell her she charged you that she got to pay you back for all the stuff you bought for her business.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so how do you find out about pop-ups?
That's a good question. So I do a lot. I have a Facebook page, but I will be honest with the audience. I don't. I have a personal Facebook page, but my Instagram page is how I really conduct all of my business. Vintage Chicks DC LLC is my IG. There is actually on Instagram. There is a vendor. There's a vendor. I guess group, and so it's so busy. It's so busy. Every second since I've been sitting here, there's been like 12 opportunities that come along. So they just all the time they're always sending out different opportunities. And what I've been doing, my sister lives in Connecticut, so this summer I'm going to probably do a couple of events in Connecticut and maybe some in New York, just depending on how the climate is up there and what's going on. But I'm looking to do more out of the area as well. But that's how most vendors do. They know about pop ups because of this. this vendor string. But once you like, I've the upscale, the one that I'm doing on Sunday. This is probably my fifth or sixth time doing it with them. So
Okay.
once you do it with one, they'll always come back to you and say, "Hey, can you do want to do it again?"
Okay. And so the pop-up concept
Hmm.
um, is fairly new in terms of years. Like I know it's been around for a lot of years, but it's still a fairly new concept. And so, how do you decide what you're going to take to the pop-up?
So that has been a lot of trial and error. Okay, that's just even what pop-ups to go to. What's the audience going to be? Because you really don't know.
Right.
Now once you start doing them over time, normally you get the same customers that came to the events in the past. But you have to go with what your gut is telling you. You just have to go. But I've been so fortunate that I've gone to pop ups in Leesburg, Virginia. Let's just leave it there, right?
Okay.
And the
Gotcha.
excitement, you got me. Okay, everybody got me. So Leesburg, Virginia, and the excitement is still the same. You
Mm,
know, believe it or not, it's still something new, something they haven't seen. Wow, it's blingy. So that I haven't had a lot of issues with people, really liking my things. And the great thing about it is I get all ages. So it's not just one age group.
hmm.
This weekend, there's another thing that I want to tell folks about. A lot of folk, I did last Saturday, I did a pool party. So I had and this person went on Facebook and asked for vendors. She had just opened up her pool. And she had like 2 acres of land, and this was going to be her pool party grand opening. And so she had 7 vendors at her home. And so we were able to vend there. And so a lot of those folks I met, they did, buy things, but the ones that were there for the pool, they hit me up and they said, "We'll see you Sunday." So I met some new folks, and they're going to come out to my event on Sunday.
Okay. Valerie says she love unique hats. So
Okay, Valerie.
we're gonna have to put you in touch. So
Absolutely.
give them your IG again.
It's Vintage Chicks, VINTAGE, Chicks with the CHICKS, DCLLC.
Okay, Valerie, there you go. And go to her IG and see all the creative things that she has. Now keep in mind, Valerie, you can't get anything that you see, but you can get something similar.
Very much so. Very much so. And if you have any ideas, anyone, if you have any ideas of stuff that you don't see um, on the website, I'm going to just be very transparent with everyone. Have not, this business has pushed me to do more social media than I've ever done. So there's a lot of times where I sell something to somebody and I didn't take a picture of it or I didn't post it. So please, if there's an idea, if there's something you thought of, and if for some reason I can't accommodate, I guarantee you I know someone that I can refer you
Okay.
to get it done.
I love that, Shauna, because one of the things that I am just so committed to is supporting small Black businesses. And, I try to highlight, small Black businesses on this podcast as much as I can as I learn about people. You could be an author, you can be, whatever your gig is, right?
Hmm.
I try to highlight, people so that we can start to do better at supporting one another. So I love that you are saying that even if I can't, I could probably point you in the direction of somebody who can, and not just trying to, step outside of what you normally do just to, make a dollar. So I love that.
So when I go to the pop up on Sunday, there are going to be so many different creators there with creative things. And what people have to realize is that even though I sew, even though I do these creative things, and someone else may do them, they're not going to do them like I do them. So when I buy a shirt from you, a lot of my friends will say, "Girl, you could have made that." No, I wouldn't have made this shirt because this wasn't my vision. This
Right.
was their vision. And so I liked it. And so now I'm going to purchase it because it's already made. I'm not going to, try to. So that's the thing about creatives. We all have this different eye for things.
Mhm.
And so when I go there on Sunday, I'll be looking around like, oh my goodness, what they got? Because I am also a consumer as well. So I'm always taken back with through creativity. And I look at stuff and be like, I would have never thought to do that, you know? So yeah,
Mhm.
I love sharing any black businesses with anyone because like you, I think it's really important, especially in the times that we are in right now, that we come together and we support one another as much as possible in any type of way that we can.
And one of the things I don't know if you've had this experience, but one of the things I do want to point out is when we walk into stores in the mall, whatever the people say the price is what we pay.
Hmm.
And I need us as a community to do the same with our small black businesses. Not try to, negotiate the price down, not say, all of that. When we go into the mall, whatever price they have on it, if we like it, that's what we pay. And so we need to do better with that because oftentimes I've seen where we'll be like, oh, that costs too much. Well, can you sell it to me for this amount? No, this is how much it costs. So
Yeah, unfortunately, we do. And now I will tell you, I have some really good customers and some good folks that, they know this. Nobody has this. Like this. Nobody's gonna have this. But I do. I think I'm very price conscious. I do. Because I look at things. I'm a consumer, so I'm not going to gouge anyone because I don't want that type of feeling. But I do agree that there are certain instances where folks, if you're come on, girl, let me, and I'm like, I can't. But very few, very few.
okay, good. I'm glad that's your experience. So, look, the hour has gone by really quickly. And so I think we covered a lot of information. I want you to shout out one more time your Instagram page because I want everybody who watches this podcast to go to your Instagram and not only follow you, but purchase from you.
I really appreciate that. And I would love that. My Instagram is Vintage Chicks, DCLLC, VINTAGE CHICKS, DCLLC.
Thank you for that. And ladies who are watching, she is also willing to do some things for our men. And so don't think this is just for us. She is multi talented and can do some things for our men as well. And so, seek her out, follow her on Instagram, and, support this small black business. It is so, so very important. And Shauna, with that being said, I want to say thank you. I want you to sit tight for a minute. Yes, Herb. Thank you, Herb, for putting it in the comment section. I guess I should have did that, but I can't do all that while I'm talking. Um,
Thanks, Herb.
sit tight for a minute. I'm gonna do my what the hell segment right quick, and then we're gonna wrap this up. So again, thank you for being my guest.
Thank you. And thank you all for having me.
Okay, so let's talk about what the hell. What the hell are we doing? Are we supporting our small black businesses? Are we supporting our family members who are, venturing out, trying new things? Or are we trying to get whatever they have to offer for free? I would like to say to you before you ask, even if it's your sister, for something for free that they have spent their time, their energy, and their creative minds on, ask yourself what the hell they are spending their money to create these things. And for them to get reimbursed for those things and make a profit, you need to be paying for it. And you need to be their biggest supporter. If you are not their biggest supporter and you are not driving your friends to them to purchase their products, if you are not shouting it from the rooftop, right? You need to be asking yourself, what the hell am I doing? Because I see a lot of lip service around supporting our black businesses, but I want us to not only give it lip service but to actually do it and do it well, because the more that we can sustain ourselves, particularly in this climate, if we can sustain ourselves as a community, the more our money is going to be funneled in our community. And so we want to make sure that we are not in 3 years from now or 4 years from now sitting on the sidelines asking ourselves, what the hell? Because this administration has taken us so far away from anything that we can even imagine that we just don't even know what to do because we didn't do the work up front. And to do the work up front, we got to support black businesses. So don't find yourself asking yourself, what the hell in 4 years if you haven't been supporting small black businesses. With that, I'd like to say thank you for joining us today. And I will see you all in 2 weeks on the 24th. I have a very special guest that I'm going to be bringing on. The show is going to be very interesting as always. And with that, I will say good night. Thank you for joining and participating in Let's Get Into It. I want to thank my special guest for being brave enough to get into it. Without you, these conversations cannot happen. Remember, different viewpoints, respect, and love are the foundations of Let's Get Into It. If there's a topic you think I should discuss, drop me a recommendation. If you're interested in being my special guest, let me know because we can and will get into it. Have a great day on purpose, and I look forward to your continued engagement and support as we get into it.